Dr. Zelenko, it's a pleasure seeing you with your daughter Shira. What a song! Because her speech is music to my ears. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank God.
So please, first of all, update us how you're feeling.
You want the truth?
Yes.
So I had my first treatment of chemotherapy this week. It was on Wednesday, and it was 8 hours long, many different drugs. It was given through my arm, and I don't think that's a good option for me anymore. It destroys my veins, so I'm gonna go get a venous port put in, so that they can have easier access, because I'm gonna need many months of chemo and blood work. And now I feel very weak and sleepy and some digestive issues. And I mean, I thought it would be worse, thank God, but it's not easy, you know.
It's an opportunity to offer you blessings of complete and speedy recovery, refuah shlema, and whatever you do, it should be a blessing, because we can say, thank God, Baruch Hashem, we have these medications.
Baruch Hashem, yeah.
Baruch Hashem.
Let me tell you, I'm seeing a lot of COVID right now in the area, and my practice, even though I'm not working directly, but I have my physician assistants. And fortunately, there's two big changes. One is people are calling right away to get care. The first time around, it was a big problem. No one knew anything. So they stayed home for a week or two. By the time they would come to get care, they were very, very sick. Now people are scared, you know? So they call on day one, which is very good. And I advise anyone and everyone who's listening to this that that's what you need to do. And we have effective therapeutics, that if started at the right time, I haven't sent anyone to the hospital yet. It's everyone gets better. So, and it's not only hydroxychloroquine and zinc and azithromycin. There's other drugs, ivermectin and dexamethasone, a steroid. We give Lovenox, blood thinners. So there's a lot of options now, custom tailored to each patient. We can always find a good solution. So I really feel that whoever's listening, because the politicians won't help you. And then I see now that the election is overshadowing, it's become the main point, and no one's really focusing on the right things right now. So the only solution I see is just spreading awareness through social media that there is effective treatments if you start early, and there's preventive approaches. And you know what? The whole world knows. I have to tell you, I got an email from someone from a village in Pakistan, small village in Pakistan, somewhere next to Afghanistan, I think. And they said, I just want to thank you. I took the Zelenko protocol. I'm 70 years old and I got better. I mean, I'm just showing you how far things travel, So you never know where these words land, but it's quite obvious to a lot of people that the awareness of the right approach is gone viral, except in the minds of the politicians who are choosing, unfortunately, politics over doing the right thing.
One of my friends married his son a few days ago. And I asked him, did you practice any social distancing or masks? He said, I don't believe in it. I think that people, that's all political. And did you ever hear anybody dying since May? Actually, this person lost his father to COVID. And he said, do you know anybody? I said, I don't know. He said, I don't think that COVID today is dangerous as it was then. And I really wanted to ask you, because maybe some people have different opinions. Some say that, like this person, he said he thinks it's all political because people want just to hurt Trump and the economy, and there's no reason really to keep the economy and schools closed, and shuls for that matter. What do you think?
So again, it depends on how you approach it. if you're taking prophylaxis, first of all, I think everyone should know if they're immune or not, because we had a lot of patients get it, and they do seem to have residual immunity at least 3-4 months into it. So if you have antibodies, you can assume that you're okay. There's been almost no cases of reinfection, maybe a few, and that's not enough to cause alarm, because you never know with those people if they have a compromised immune system or not. So, but it's not a major problem. So if you have antibodies, I think you could have a little peace of mind and reintegrate. Now, if you're low risk, like kids or young adults that have no medical problems, so what? Get it and get over it and join the immune club, you know? Now, if you're high risk, meaning, you know, if you get it, you can get very, very sick. So my advice is don't get very, very sick. So take prophylaxis, take preventive medication, and use common sense, you know? Rosh Hashanah is coming. I'm sure you're going to want to go to shul. If it's possible to be in a shul, a smaller minyan, that's Rabbi Akiva Eger said a few hundred years ago, it was a plague then, and he made a decree that no more than 15 people should pray in a minyan and during a plague. You can look it up. So it's just common sense. If you have any symptoms or someone's sick, don't go get other people sick. You want to wear a mask? I don't know. It's not clear if it really helps. Only the N95 masks, no one wears them anyway because you can't breathe in them. And I think it's just common sense.
What would you do?
So let's talk about me. So I'm on chemotherapy. I'm immunocompromised. I have one lung, and I recently had 2 surgeries. And even the dying paskin that on Yom Kippur I should eat and drink. So what would I do? I'm taking hydroxychloroquine and zinc every day. And if I can, because I have trouble walking up a hill, but if I can, I'm going to try to make it to hear chauffeur. And if I can't, I'll ask someone to blow for me. But,
Yes.
you know, and even if I do go to the shul, if the weather's nice, I'll be outside.
Yes.
You know, I'm not crazy, you know. If anyone's at risk, it's me. So, but I don't wear a mask. I only wear a mask if I need to go shopping, just because they won't let me into the store. But otherwise, I can't breathe in it, and I don't think it helps. So,
but talking about the COVID severity, is it as severe and dangerous now as it was?
of course, but the difference is people are smarter.
You think it's the same virus? It did not mutate. It did not become weaker.
It seems to behave the same. Here, I'll just make it very simple, okay? As long as it's in here, it's safe, you can get rid of it. If it goes down here,
Yes.
not so good. So you have to get it when it's here. And that's what's happening. People are calling right at the beginning of the process, and we can eradicate it. That's why it's not so severe. If those people dray around, I do get occasionally, I had someone call me from Houston, believe it or not. And the wife, a religious woman, but she was like 10 days, symptoms, getting really sick. I mean, low oxygen. I really had to work very, very hard to keep her out of the hospital. But so people do get sick. It's just now we have experience, we know what to do.
Today is September 11th. So it is very special interview, very special opportunity for you to reflect on that day. Do you remember that day? What do you think about this today?
Do I remember that day? So September, I was in residency, my first year of residency. And I was on call, I mean, it's a 27-hour shift on September 10th. So on September 11th in the morning, I'm driving home after a full shift. I get home and my beeper goes off. Actually, I had heard on the radio what happened, and so I came home and I was watching on the computer to see what's going on, and then my beeper went off, and they called all the residents back to the hospital because there was an emergency. So we went back to the hospital, and I was in Long Island, so it's not like we were seeing the patients that were acutely ill. But what we did was we ended up seeing the walking wounded, those patients that could still get home, but most of them, the ones we saw, had eye injuries and lung trouble breathing because of the inhalation of the dust. So we saw a bunch of patients like that. And then on September 12th, I was on call again. So I spent 3 days in the hospital with very little sleep. So I do remember it. I do remember the fear and the shock and the uncertainty. It really shaked up people's world view, and no one knew really what was going on. Reminds me of the COVID pandemic in that sense, that we've had these national emergencies and national events that have shaken up our consciousness and make us think that there's really something more going on here than we really see and that we understand. The question is, what is that? And that's ties into Rosh Hashanah because, listen, there's two ways of looking at the world. There's intelligent design, meaning that there's a big banger. There's a creator that has thought about existence and willed it into being and has a plan. And then that there's rules and there's a certain purpose for everything that happens, good and what appears to be bad. And if these things happen, and they're challenging your faith, so you look deeper into yourself and try to connect in a more intimate way with the creator, figure out what is being asked of me. It's a very personal experience. The other way of looking at the world is that we're evolved from randomness, that all existence has no purpose or meaning. Everything is, death is the end of everything. And there is no purpose in anything except survival of the fittest. And there's many people, most of the world lives like that. So it depends on which approach you want to take. Because if it's the nothing has meaning approach, then you are living in a very, very lonely place with, I don't know how you can have any peace of mind or even have any complaints to anyone. They wanted to kill us, they killed us. Who says that they were wrong? Who says your values are better than theirs? We can play that game all day. However, if you live by a universal code of right and wrong, then I think we can all come to the agreement that mass murder, whether it's through terrorist attacks or through preventing people from having life-saving medication, it's the same thing. And then we can make a value judgment. We can say, well, that's not good. It's not good because it really violates some fundamental principles of existence. You cannot indiscriminately kill people and have stable society. And you can't indiscriminately kill people when there's a God in the world who has a plan, and we're made in the image of God. So who are we to decide who lives and who dies? So it depends on your worldview. Now, Rosh Hashanah brings that issue very, very clearly in the minds of many people, because it shakes you up. You know that this is a day of judgment. You know that God is assessing what will be for you for the following year, whether there'll be life and health and children, prosperity. And I used to not take that very seriously, but now I take it very seriously, because I live on the edge, on the razor's edge of being here and not being here, and it makes you very sensitive and astute to how important to your energies productively and character refinement, and to seek forgiveness both from God and from people that you may have wronged. I think that that's a way, in my view, to reduce the need for viral infections and for terrorist attacks, in the sense that you arouse yourself to self-reflection. You bring yourself to realize that there's a need to understand the world better, not wait until something catastrophic and external hits you in the head and you go into shock, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. People are like, they don't know what to do with themselves. So I think that a lot of it is in the hands of our own hands, so to speak. What happens? I'm sorry. My apologies.
What you were saying actually, we find directly straight in the Torah when it says tzedek, tzedek, tirdav, justice, justice, or you can say judgment, judgment in that regard. You should pursue. Ramban says it's a hint that there are two kinds of justice, one justice above and one justice here in this world. And a person has a freedom of choice. If you do not pursue justice, first of all, from yourself in your life, then you create the need for the justice above to be applied to you. But if you pursue the justice in this world from yourself, then the heavenly justice turns into mercy. So my blessing to you, that you should be inscribed in a book of life together with your family for many, many, not only years, but decades to come.
Amen. And you as well, Rabbi. Thank you.
Thank you so much.